Hey, deserving listeners, couples therapy, Boris and Jessica. Let's watch.
How so? So
I was perfectly well. I was great. I was doing great.
do you see what just happened? She flipped from the truth about how she was feeling, and when I disagree with that version, there's this sarcastic thing that happens all the way to the other end.
Yes, it was sarcastic. Now, we might understand where that's coming from, but it's not recommended. There are other ways of communicating. Once you get to that phase of communication, it's no longer constructive. Now, he's not being particularly constructive because he's denying her needs in a lot of ways and making it all about him. So there's that. But two wrongs don't make a right. She could say, well, it hurts my feelings when you don't care about my feelings or something like that. It's hard to do, but it's what I'm going to say. Also, if I were watching this, I would categorize that as resentment. When people are sarcastic, typically it's because they resent, because they have been frustrated in a particular way with their partner for a very long time. And they have a narrative about the other person that the other person doesn't care. It's to talk a little bit about resentment in the clinical sense, in the couples therapy sense, in the John Gottman research sense. The four horsemen of the apocalypse, that whole thing, right? It's one of them. And meaning that the research John Gottman found was that when you have stonewalling, resentment, defensiveness, and criticism, as they are defined by John Gottman and colleagues, then the chance of that relationship dissolving sometime in the next 5 years is very high. Whereas if you don't have any of those things, then the chance of the relationship dissolving, divorcing, breaking up is low. And there's a fairly robust, trying to avoid research lingo, it's fairly predictive, right? So you start with, wow, he didn't care about my feelings that one time. That hurts. Wow, he's doing that thing again where he doesn't care about my feelings. Ugh. That's the second time that's happened. And I'm being a little exaggeratory regarding one's inner dialogue about it, but I hope you get the idea. By the 5th time, by the 10th time, by the 25th time, now, maybe you are not perceiving things correctly, but at the very least, that's the narrative that you're having. Eventually, it turns into resentment in that he generally doesn't care about my feelings, or he doesn't care about my feelings in this way generally. It's not just an isolated thing that bothers me or hurts my feelings. There's something about him that I resent, right? And maybe that's true, but that's an indicator of resentment and a narrative about the other person. And in therapy, those are things to focus on. Now, we don't necessarily focus on the resentment and try to get rid of it, right? We try to address why the person has the resentment, right? So one of the things that I'm imagining based on the very little we've seen so far is that we need to roll back the harm that has happened in this particular way with him apologizing and minimizing that behavior of discounting her feelings, and then have a lot of interactions where he demonstrates that he does care about her feelings. That can be very hard, which you could imagine, but that's why people are in therapy.
I hate that.
When you question my experience, it is incredibly frustrating.
I just don't know how to live with this person, and I'm pretty sure this person doesn't really know how to live with me when our aspirations for what home feels like are so different.
Okay, so I don't know if it's edited. It didn't look edited, but it could have been. But that transition to what he just said is pretty stark. And it's not surprising, given where things are headed. But yeah, well, I could see why y'all wanted me to react to this couple. So I'll tell you that the average couple that comes to couple therapy, including myself, is kind of like this. I generally categorize into thirds in that a third of the couples come to me with minimal needs in therapy, minimal problems, and might only need 5 to 10 sessions. Another third need probably years of ongoing couple therapy, but their conflict in between session is manageable. There's another third that is of this ilk, in that the resentment and the walls and the perceptions and the overreactivity and the hurt. I mean, he just talked about her as if she wasn't in the room, right? That, this person, yeesh. I mean, that's the way you talk about someone that's annoying you on the bus. This person, ugh. And that statement too, I'll rewind this because I really want to take notes on it, that he's concluding that she's a horrible partner. I think that's what he's saying. All right, just chiming in here, the rest of this video will be for members of the YouTube channel. So if you want to see the rest of this video and all the other full videos where I watch Boris and Jessica, you need to become a member of the YouTube channel by clicking the link below, the join button, or there should be a link in the description as well. And everyone aside, if you're not a member, then goodbye for now. See you next time. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.